Welcome to Nora's Happy Space. These are the supplies I used. Turner's Yellow acrylic paint, Cadman Orange acrylic paint, Titanium White, Raw Umber, Warm Gray, Burnt Sienna, and I did mix a few of these browns together, Bright Green, Permanent Black. You can find this paint at Hobby Lobby. I used an orange chalk marker because I had some problem with the orange paint on the black. I also used a white chalk marker for some details. And I outlined everything in a black Sharpie. I did use a smaller canvas. It's about the size of a piece of paper, but really you could use any size of canvas. I'm starting with the black acrylic paint. And sometimes your paint does get a little stuck, so I just end up opening it and unscrewing it. It's just easier. I'm going to paint the entire canvas black, so I just like to put the paint right onto the canvas. Now, it doesn't really matter what size of brush, and you do have to remember you do need to wet your brush. So have your little bowl of water next to you, and you always want to kind of dab some of the water off and just paint the canvas black. I like to go left to right. It makes the paint smoother. And then don't forget, every now and then you do need to wet your brush so the paint doesn't get dry. I like to paint the whole canvas first, and then after it dries, go back and paint the edges a little at a time and let them dry, and then turn the canvas around. That's just my process, but you can actually paint the edges right now if you want to. It's up to you. Now, off camera, I did paint all of the edges with black paint. I just didn't record it. Just make sure you do that before you continue. Now we're going to get to painting pumpkin with the orange color that I showed earlier. Now, this is a little tricky. I noticed that this paint was a little difficult to cover over the black. So what you might want to do is paint the pumpkin part first and then go around and paint your background. It looks kind of cool in the end, but if you don't want to worry about it and you like it a little thicker, then you might want to try it that way. So remember, always wet your brush first. And I just kind of freehand this. It's not a complete circle because it's like part of the pumpkin is off of the page. So it's kind of like a rainbow shape, I would say. And you just kind of take your time. Don't rush this process. You will have to put multiple layers. Do not make the paint too thick. And please remember to wet your brush when it gets dry. If your brush still stays pretty like damp, you're okay. But do remember if the paint seems a little blobby, which sometimes that happens even for me, and you just want to make sure you let it dry and then come back to it and put another layer after it dries. Now, I did paint orange over the edge of the canvas, but that was a personal preference. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to, because I wanted it to look like the pumpkin was continuing off the page. Here I am putting on a second layer of the orange paint. Now I realized later that my brush did get a little dry, so the paint kind of clumped a little bit. So make sure that you are paying closer attention and that you keep your brush wet periodically. This is where I decided to add the moon in the corner, and I use this really pretty yellow color. I did not draw a circle shape with anything else but just the paint. If you feel more comfortable with drawing the circle shape before you paint, you can always use chalk, like a piece of chalk, not chalk markers. Or that way you can outline it softly before you paint. Now I had to decide where I wanted the light to be coming from. So I decided it would be coming from the left side of my moon. So you see me adding a little white on one side of my brush and a little bit of yellow on the other side of my brush. And I'm going to do a little highlighting around the left side of my moon. I want to make sure the white is on the outside of my moon and the yellow is on the inside. Now I decided to add a white ring that kind of went around my moon just to make it look more like it was kind of glowing. So I did use my fingers to kind of rub the paint, to kind of smooth it out. And you'll see me add more white through there and just kind of smooth it to kind of smooth the paint down and blend it. Now I'm going to add the details for the pumpkin, the stem, and a little vine with some leaves on it. Now I did mix a couple of the colors to make this brown, but later on I decided I wanted a little darker, so I did go back in and kind of go over it in the darker brown. It is kind of your choice on what color you want it to be. Now I'm going to add a vine, and I just made like these curly cues, but you can really do it however you want to. It's your painting, make it your own. Now I did go back over the green later to make it a little darker, and I also added some leaves. I am not very particular about my leaves. I just kind of make them look like leaves. But you can always practice this on a separate piece of paper if that would make you feel more comfortable. This is where I decided to use the white chalk marker in order to make like little stars. I'm just adding dots all over the black background just to add details. This is where I decided to use a black Sharpie to kind of outline the pumpkin and add some more details. Now you want to make sure that you are drawing on the painted part, not the black painted, because otherwise it won't show up. Also, I did use that orange chalk marker you saw earlier. I used it on the orange pumpkin because I wasn't very happy with the black showing through. And I just added a little more color there. I did that off camera, but I would recommend that you paint your pumpkin first and then go around the pumpkin with the black paint so the black does not bleed through. And you can add as many details with the Sharpie marker as you want. I did go back over the stem and the vine and the leaves with another layer of paint. It's kind of your choice if you want to add the layering of paint. I just wanted it to be a little darker, and you normally don't have to do that if your canvas is white, but because we use that black paint on it, it's going to take a little extra layer. Here is the finished product. I hope you enjoyed this activity. This idea was inspired by a chalk drawing from the website projectswithkids.com. Go check it out. If you like this video, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up down below. And also leave me a comment there and share this video with your friends and your family. You can also subscribe to this channel by clicking the subscribe button down below. And that way you don't miss out on any future content that's posted. You can also follow me on Instagram at Nora's_happy_space. Until next time, take care. Check out my blog post at norashappyspace.wordpress.com.